my talk is on how to overcome learning curve, tips and tricks for a beginner. So someone asked me, are you a tube guy or endoscopy guy? So I'm a tube guy trying to get into endoscopy. Those things I'm doing open. My plan is to convert that to MIS, and those I'm doing through tube. I think in near future I should be doing all that through this scope. So I'm basically an MIS guy going on a straight line, enjoying MIS, and then there is a confusion. Should I get into interlaminar? Should I get into transforaminal or UBE? And many people now are in this state of confusion. So first thing to cross learning curve is conviction. You have to get convinced that this is the way forward and you will have to learn, then only you will be able to proceed. And how would you get that conviction? Look at evidence. The number of publications in last 5 years increased in 500 times. And that suggests non-inferior, majority of them are now showing that non-inferiority of endoscopy to conventional procedures. Next is you have to see unbiased evaluation of results. Like this patient with a C6-7 foraminal disc, and you can see unparalleled pen-parallel visualization, excellent decompression, excellent 4K visualization with such a small tiny incision. And if you get your post-operative MRI, you can see complete disappearance of the disc fragment with very minimal footprint, and this is CT scan. So if you be unbiased and see that, then you will, this is the procedure to follow upon. And next thing is, in a private sector, you're educated and aware patient, every patient is asking, doctor, can't you do it endoscopically? So this is another factor that you should get into endoscopy. So once you are convinced about endoscopy, the next thing is fellowship. You need to get trained under some guru, some dronacharya, and we are fortunate to have many guys overseas and from Germany, Ruten, and Martin Komp. In majority, good number of people are being trained by Kangtek Lim, and we are fortunate to have many stalwarts among here as well. Datar sir, Pramod Lokhande, Sukumar, Bhanot sir, who are very well versed with this scopy and doing this for many years and teaching and training. So it's important to get good training. So your options are hands-on cadaver lab, conferences, webinar, and in today's era, simulator is also a good way to get trained into it. There are YouTube channels from a Revo Spine. Sukumar, Mahesha, Datar sir has their own channels, and you can see your videos and try to learn from there. And this is one of the WhatsApp group we have by Sukumar and Mahesh are predominantly leading this group. Almost 547 members, and this is a group where cases, all variety of endoscopy cases are being discussed and videos are being shared, so you should be there as well. But a caution here, don't be an eklavya. You can't just copy this YouTube and WhatsApp and proceed. Your guru are ready to teach here. They may not cut your fingers, but yes, if something goes wrong, there are people who are there to sue you. So make sure that initial cases, if possible, do it with someone who has experience. Discuss the case and key points in details with your mentor. Don't be in hurry. Keep adequate time slot when you are beginning your case. And prepare your anesthetician team member as well about extended time. Like when you're beginning, somebody say, yeah, MIS, you can do it in 45 minutes. Why you want to spend 2 hours, 2.5 hours? But you will have to go through that phase to become an expert. You have to invest. Like I invested in Revo scopes, drill, RF, 4K camera, 4K monitor, nearly 1 CR of investment, but it's worth it. And very important, once you buy set, you feel that I will have to cross this learning curve, and you see that every case, can I do it endoscopy? But make sure that you should cross this learning curve slowly. So begin your case with this kind of L5S1 disc with a wider interlaminar window, where you can go through interlaminar window and take it out easily. So choose your initial cases easy cases. So success of your initial cases would determine your journey. And when you are doing this kind of cases, it's important that don't jump into, when you see this root, don't jump into it. You have to make adequate foraminotomy before sheath rotation. Like this patient initially I had difficulty in retracting the root, and this I am doing foraminotomy. And once adequate foraminotomy is done, the same thing is very much easier to retract. So this is an important point to remember when you begin with disc. you use a lot of like retraction with sheath, so you don't know what is happening to the traversing root. So make sure that you release the nerve root retraction in between. So this discectomy is being done, and in between you make sure that you release the retraction. Yeah, and if needed, you can come back again. So once you are doing 5-1, 4-5, then gradually you can go up. This is L3-4 disc herniation, pre-op, post-op, pre-op, post-op. You can see excellent decompression there. And once you do adequate routine disc cases, you can do cauda equina as well. This patient has a cauda equina syndrome with a large disc herniation, and complete discectomy decompression has been done. Once you get adequate discectomies, next is discectomy with ipsilateral lateral stenosis. This is pre-op, this is post-op. You can see excellent decompression. And once you are well versed with ipsilateral, then you try to go over the top. Like this patient with a lumbar canal stenosis, mild stenosis, single level is a good case for LCS to begin with. And you can see post-op adequate decompression. Complication avoidance is very important. So your diagnosis has to be right, your indication has to be robust, and your surgical option, whether you do transforaminal, tubular, open or interlaminar, based on surgeon competence. Whatever works in your hand, you should do it, and gradually you should go out of your comfort zone and try to adapt in your procedure. So to avoid those complications, it's important that you study your pre-op MRI and images very properly and plan your strategy. See where is the nerve root, where is the disc, whether it's a shoulder disc or axillar disc, that you will see on pre-op MRI, whether your disc is calcified or no, whether it's a soft fragment, sequestrated or no. So you have to see all these details in MRI. Your sufficient laminotomy is required for good decompression. Adequate hemostasis is key. Avoid any blind spot. Art of drilling is very important in endoscopy. It's different than your open or MIS. So you must master that. And getting routine post-op MRI would help you to improve further. And watch your own videos. In my case, being a master of MIS, it was helpful because it's exactly the same procedure. And if I fail doing endo, it's a good fallback option. It's another MIS only. Avoid increased intra-epidural pressure. Like initially when there is a bleeding, your basic approach is you just ask assistant to press more and the pressure would increase. So you make sure that you don't push too much. Otherwise, patient would have post-op neck pain, seizure, blood vision, drowsiness, and there are cases of seizure also reported. So it's important that keep infusion pressure less than 30 millimeter and reduce the operative time. You can avoid those complications. This is one case, congenital stenosis. One of my enthusiastic colleague did this in early learning curve. So there is big no during this learning curve. This kind of congenital canal stenosis require expertise and better to convert to open or conventional technique in this kind of case. So this patient had a inadequate decompression with bilateral foot drop post-operatively. So, and this kind of complication happens, then you avoid going further. So make sure that you don't do that mistake. Conversion, at times you might need to convert, like this was my first para PSLD L5S1 paralateral foraminal extraforaminal disc. I docked, went there, struggled for 1.5 hours, but then I had to convert to MIS. So keep your ego aside. Patient safety and successful outcome is priority, and if you need to convert, it's not a failure. You can learn from your mistake, and next case you can do it well. So the take-home message is conviction is important. Get adequate training before you get into it. You begin with simple L5S1 discectomy with a wide interlaminar window, and you can progress gradually and try to prevent complication by all means. Better patient selection, detailed planning, and choosing option based on your own expertise level is important. Conversion is not a failure. Keep ego aside and don't keep halfway. There is a beautiful view at the top. Bounce back and keep progressing further. And this is a fellowship at my place beginning 1st Jan. Thank you. If anybody is interested. Thank you.